alarm, a silent alarm here on our 310-ton plastic injection molding machine. You see, here's plastic in the hopper, goes down in the throat, through the barrel, and when the barrel is all the way forward, it gets injected into the mold on that side. So the alarm was that the machine didn't have the proper amount of grease, and from time to time the grease will lose its prime, or there'll be a pocket of air built up in there and the machine will sense it. So what you have to do is you have to go into force grease mode. So after you shut the machine down, don't power it down, but what I mean is stop the operation. You turn off the servo, you put it in manual mode, you press the cycle button, and then you press both of these buttons. So you press this one first, then press both of these simultaneously, holding them down for 3 seconds. This LED will start flashing once you let off. It'll flash slow, then fast, then slow again. That's letting you know that it's running through the cycle 5 times to ensure that the machine has grease. So here's the greaser on the other side of the machine. There's a grease cartridge right inside here. You can take this plastic cover off. The grease cartridge simply screws in, and it's got a bellows. You want to compress it a little bit as you screw the new one in to kind of pop out the grease so that you don't get an air pocket. Right now, what it's doing is it's forcing grease through the lines, and it's going to force the grease through until it fills enough back pressure. It's going to do that 5 times in order to ensure that the lines are properly loaded up with grease. Underneath here is a screw, a bleeder screw. You can simply put an adjustable wrench on there and turn it counterclockwise, and it'll bleed grease out onto the floor, and you can get any air bubbles out and then go ahead and close it back up. The covers to this really just expose the electronics for this. It really doesn't give you access to do any service work to it. So according to the manual, it's going to sense once it gets 725 psi of back pressure, and it's going to repeat the cycle 5 times. And that's how the machine knows that all the lines are charged with grease, and it's not going to run into a situation where it doesn't have proper lubrication and causes some serious damage to the machine. This hasn't happened very often in my 3 years here, but on these Toshiba machines, this isn't a very long or difficult process. On the Fanuc machines, it takes 90 minutes, and if you touch anything on the controls in that 90 minutes, it starts it all over again. So you have to be very patient with some other machines.
One more thing I'd like to add. The display will show that you need to perform a force grease operation on the machine so many times before the machine decides it's going to shut itself down to prevent possible damage. So it does give you that warning. It took us about 25 minutes to stop the operation on the machine, purge the material out of the barrel, perform the force grease mode operation, and then get the machine back to making parts. So it's really not that long of a process. It's not that difficult to do. And I'm glad that the machine will give you that warning instead of just suddenly shutting down and having alarms go off. Thanks for watching.